In this lesson, we explore radians and degrees, and obviously both are two types of measurements, but in trigonometry you may see more radians, and so it's important to understand the concept of radians here. So really, when you see 2 pi radians, this essentially means that 2 pi radians refers to that circumference of the circle, which indeed corresponds to 360 degrees of a circle, because one complete or entire revolution is 360 degrees, which corresponds to this 2 pi radians circumference idea. So in that sense, this is more like the length, you would say, in terms of pi. But usually, after you understand that this is more of a measurement, how do you exactly convert between one measurement to another? Well, the idea is that when you're converting from radians to degrees, when you're doing this, you want to multiply the radians by 180 over pi. And so when you're converting from degrees to radians, you want to multiply the degrees by pi over 180. So these are the two different ones. So for instance, I'll take something like 2 pi, right? If we want to convert 2 pi radians into degrees, we obviously know this is 1 revolution or 360 degrees. But this formula here, so 2 pi, right, we would be multiplying this by 180 over pi. Clearly pi and pi cancel off. We have 180 times 2, 360 degrees. Now looking at 360 degrees, and we wanted to convert this into radians, we would really be doing 360 degrees, right? Times by pi over 180, because we're converting from degrees to radians in this case now, and so 1, 2, and so we are left with 2 pi here. So you can really do anything. Again, I can go more with the reference angles and just show you, but it's just multiplication here. So if we have something like pi over 6, as a reference angle that we always look at, and we want to convert this into degrees, we're again really multiplying this by 180 over pi to get the degrees. So pi cancel, and so we divide 180 by 6, that's 30. So really pi over 6 is 30 degrees. Similarly, we can look at pi over 4 and multiply this by 180 divided by pi. Again, 180 divided by 4 is 45. Pi cancel, so we're left with 45 degrees here. So again, these are another 2 examples. And really, if you have 30 degrees and you want to convert this into radians, you're really just multiplying this by pi over 180, right? And so you divide 180 by 6, obviously, so 1 and then 6. So pi over 6 radians, which is what you had here. Again, you would multiply this by pi over 180. So same concept, 1 and 4. So pi over 4 radians. And really, if you think about it, when you're converting from one measurement to another, it's really you're multiplying one by 180 divided by pi, and the other one you're multiplying by it's reciprocal, which is pi over 180. So you just want to keep in mind that whenever you're multiplying degrees, this is how I keep it in mind. Really, when you're going from degrees to radians, you want to multiply by pi over 180, because pi is the radians, right? It's a form of radians, so that's going to be in the numerator when you're converting from degrees to radians. So that's how I memorize it, and really you're just converting back from one unit to another. The other idea that you want to keep in mind besides conversion is how you label them, because they at times trick you with the way how it's labeled. So when you have something like 2.587, this is likely to be radians, obviously, because you don't expect a small degree measure. However, it's possible it may be a degree. What differentiates one from the other is this symbol right here. Many of us know that this is degrees. this symbol here. But for radians, there's no such symbol. You know, you may not necessarily see pi. It could just be this. And whenever there's no degree symbol and it's just by itself, this means this really indicates that it's 2.587 radians. So that's just the basic concept you should know regarding these measurements. These will be used in trigonometry later. So thanks for watching.